दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ ಚೆನ್ನೈ ತಿರುಚಿರಾಪಳ್ಳಿ
Express University Station, Netaji Bhavan.
When CSK came out to bat, they came out to bat like the petrol in their scooter was over, like Harsha explained to us when it used to happen back in his day. But when KKR came out... But when KKR came out to bat, they came out and batted like they were a Ferrari in full throttle. Like it is now normal, the Ferrari with full throttle. KKR have won by 8 wickets. They did this in 10.1 overs. Narine getting 44 in 18 balls. Quinton de Kock getting 23. Ajinkya Rahane getting 20. Welcome back to Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami. I've got Pommie and Harsha. But Harsha, it was back in your day, you said, when the scooter would finish with their petrol.
But you know, in some small towns in India, they'd still be doing that.
Oh, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I thought it was a very good comeback to say, like it is now with the Ferrari. I like that.
They were in a real sport Z mode. That's what KKR was in today, because they came out, played for the net run rate. We spoke about how Sunil Narine needs to get those shots going. He got it. Everything seems to be going right today for them, Harsha.
Yeah. It was the perfect game for them. It was the game. They had a game to forget against Mumbai. And they've done exactly the opposite of them and delivered a game for the opposition to forget. And this was as complete a game as anybody can play. Winning it with half the overs left, that'll be fantastic for their net run rate. Sunil Narine got runs, Quinton de Kock got off to a start. The spinners bowled brilliantly. The captain, I thought, used the conditions very well. The moment he realized these are the conditions, used the 12 overs of spin magnificently. So KKR will leave Chennai feeling on top of the world.
But we've been speaking about this fortress at the Chepauk. It's been a fortress for so long, but is it a fortress anymore?
Isn't
now?
it 3 in a row?
3 in a row, and it's never ever happened at the Chepauk that they've lost 3 in a row. So is it a fortress anymore?
Look, I think it still can be, and perhaps not this season, because if we look at the teams that made it a fortress, they're miles better than the one they have right now. And you've got everybody right at their peak. And that's why when you went there, even in games that you kind of had to scrap, they believed they could be better than any opposition that turned up and managed to then turn over some games that probably they shouldn't have won, where some opposition would turn up and they'd be quaking in their boots and be tentative in the way they went about things. It doesn't happen these days. There'd be a time if we went back to those days.
Back in those days.
So back in your days, it's just where even a total such as this one, there'd be some care taken in how you'd sort of try and dismantle it. You look at how Quinton de Kock and Sunil Narine went there. Absolutely no fear, none whatsoever, no doubt in their minds that they would get the score and planning to get it in as quick a time as possible. So, yeah, it essentially is indicative of what's happening within the side and the fact that they haven't come together in the way that they want, and also compounded by the fact that they're not in great form at all. In fact, having a season to forget.
But Harsha, you know, we were talking that we've come back very quickly. It's just been 10 overs. We would have been at the box, but here we are. We spoke about that intent which you would have liked CSK to show. Do you think they showed that intent, or they didn't get a chance at all with the way they attacked? Would you have liked maybe the spinners to go to the left-handers instead of the pacers?
Yeah, I thought Moeen Ali bowled that excellent first spell, and they got marooned very early. They got on 18 of the first 5 overs. And it suggests to me, look, these are not bad players. Devon Conway has been a standout player for CSK 2 years ago. Rachin Ravindra is someone who's, well, in ODIs he's got a lot of runs. He doesn't have a great T20 career, but he's in everyone's book a player to watch out for. So they've got a proper opening pair, and it was that started it all. I wonder if in their minds they've become defensive. In their minds they're saying, don't lose, get off to a decent start. We've got time, don't lose wickets. And I just wonder if that can happen as you go along. Once you made only 100, look, Sunil Narine can only bat one way. Then you give him a nice back of the length ball. He hits 2 sixes. Your innings is up and running anyway.
No, but would you have
CSK, I think, are just a little bit. I think their feet are taking them back.
Would you have liked to see spinners up front is
For
what
CSK,
I meant.
right?
For CSK.
I was surprised Ashwin
Yes.
didn't bowl up front. But when he did, you saw what happened. But yeah, I was a little surprised that
Because-
he didn't start with spin throughout.
They started with both the
I
pacers
thought so.
and they were both the left-handers batting. So Ashwin Noor would have been a little more attacking, do you think, Pommie?
If the fast bowlers are going to get in the game at all, I think it would have been up at the front. And you think about also the fact that Quinton de Kock and Sunil Narine, you might decide to go spin, and I suppose with the conditions you might do that, but both of them you're able to remove with fast bowling. Yes, you don't want to be short at Quinton de Kock, but with Narine, we've seen him for a few games now where the faster bowlers turn up, and if it just swings a little bit, then you're able to get him out by bowling at the stumps and getting that little bit of swing, or bowling short as well. So yeah, you kind of understand the thinking, but on a day where you'd probably hedge your bets more towards the spin, might have been worth going that route. It's 103 runs. You need absolutely everything to go your way if you're going to defend those runs.
Also, the batters are not too worried. They're going to take a chance, especially
anyone.
someone like Sunil Narine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the message would have been, look, Sunil Narine, you go and play your game. If you come off, Quinton, you go and play your game, and then let's finish it quickly.
Yes.
And
I reckon whatever happened, everyone was teeing off because that's kind of how you go about it these days, right? You seldom get a chance to play for the net run rate, and when you get that chance, whereas teams before used to go, let's get started, let's whatever. There is no doubt in your mind that if you bat for a period of time, you're going to get 103 runs.
They're batting 9 batters.
There you go.
Pommie's point is valid. You could be 103 for 7.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if you're winning it in 10, 11 overs.
Yeah.
Well, I am just checking my Cricbuzz app because the captain has come out and spoken. This is what he had to say. I feel there has been quite a few nights which have not gone our way. We need to go back to the drawing board, and I think the basics which we are doing are wrong. We need to accept the challenge and figure out ways to score runs for the team. Whenever we bowled first, the ball stopped a bit, and today also the ball was stopping. But also if you lose too many wickets, cricket seems to be a lot different, is what MSD had to say today. So did they lose it at the toss, Harsha?
Easy to say in retrospect.
Yes.
No. Easy to say in retrospect. But I think they lost it when they started so defensively. And then thereafter, one after the other, the wickets just kept going. I don't think they have the batting pedigree to go and get those big runs up front. That's why I keep saying I won't be surprised if they think of Jadeja just to play as a pure batter up front.
Yes.
In the glory days of CSK, the one batter they didn't use much except when in trouble was Subramaniam Badrinath. What would they give for a player of Badrinath's caliber to come in and walk in at number 4 today? That was how good CSK were. They only used him if required. He was in the 11, they used him if required. That is a caliber of players they don't have at the moment. And this, I'm afraid, has to go back to the auction where they didn't get that solid Indian middle order player. Now you realize how good Suresh Raina was, for example.
But also the middle order, we've spoken about the top order. We've spoken about Ayush Mhatre. They called him in for some practice sessions. Just a thought. We know that Ruturaj Gaikwad has to be replaced. Prithvi Shaw, Mayank Agarwal, the only 2 other Indian
Mayank Agarwal
players.
may not be a bad bet.
Look, call all pockets. I think in the end, a side without confidence is tricky scenario, right? Again, sort of going to glory days, as you called them, and speaking of players like Suresh Raina or Raidu or Badrinath or, I don't know, I'll even go back to Murali Vijay or whoever you want. Like, you can call all those players. All of those players were at the peak of their powers. Now, with players at the peak of their powers who endure a horrible beginning, there's still a belief, because they're at the peak of their powers, that they can turn it on and they can be confident in getting it right at some point. Confidence is what fuels most, if not all, when it comes to top-level sportsmen. And once that confidence is knocked and doubt sets in, it creates big problems. And it just looks like a doubting side, not entirely sure which way to go in terms of trying to address what problems they obviously have. And everybody knows that they have these problems. They know they have these problems, but just how to address it in a time that says, here's this aggressive game that everybody plays, go out, play shots. And really you're going, are they certain and are they fully committing to playing the shots despite being out for 103 and 150 and whatnot, and just not enough runs on the board? Or are they doing that because they think that's what should be done, but without fully committing to actually that game plan? So yeah, find the game plan, I say, and believe that that's what's going to work. I think that's the only way you got to go. That's the reset I'm talking about.
This felt like Ted Lasso right now, listening to a cricket version of Ted Lasso. Pommie, I don't know if you've watched it. But Harsha, what do they do when they go back to that drawing board?
I'm just trying to see what Pommie said. They were all players at the top of their game. Dhoni finished 2019. Ashwin has finished international cricket. Jadeja has retired from T20 cricket. Devon Conway was picked, but has lost his place in the New Zealand side thereafter. Huda, Tripathi, Vijay Shankar have not done anything anything noteworthy in domestic cricket. Rachin Ravindra has done very well in Test cricket, done very well in ODI cricket. Is still to prove himself as a T20 player. So I'd like to go back to the people who said this before the tournament, because it's very easy to say it now. But we had identified the middle. The absence of a core Indian middle order batter as an issue. But what Pommie was hinting at is, so who is the player who's going to pull them out of this?
Correct.
Who is on top of his game? And if you look down, who is the player there on top of his game, and you're searching?
Yes. Well, CSK have a whole lot of issues that they will need to address, which I'm sure they will go back and address in the drawing room. But everything seemed to have gone KKR's way today, but there's this one person who's always uber cool, and I want to talk about him because of what he's done today. He is our coolest performer he's the coolest performer of the match, powered by Voltas, Shore Kam Zyada. Sunil Narine, because of what he did, not only with the bat, with the ball, and also that misfield, and then coolly going and
Was the coolest. That was the coolest moment of all. He's misfielded, he's trotted after the ball, and he's just sort of pushing the ball with his feet and throwing it back. He's not. I mean, he dropped the catch. Did you see him hold his head and his face and sit down and say, what on earth have I done? Did you look like he wanted the earth to open up under him? No, he just ran back through the ball and he stood there.
But he just never shows emotion, does he? When
never.
he gets those wickets, when he gets those runs, when he hits those sixes, never.
Absolutely no emotion at all. And sometimes that's very good. But I think the biggest plus is that he got a track that was helpful, but his bowling came good again. And I mean, he only scores runs for KKR, by the way. As he goes around the world, doesn't score too many runs. But when he's getting runs, suddenly KKR are a more dangerous side because you don't know what he's going to do at the top.
He's so unpredictable with him. So that's very positive that he got those runs. But also...
Sorry, I'll tell you how cool he is. I'm looking at Pommie, and Pommie is trying to impersonate this cool. Suddenly the expressions change, and Pommie is trying to look this cool guy. He's trying to look like Sunil Narine.
I've not tried anything. I'm just sitting there listening to
Pommie is just very cool as well.
Yeah, cool and cool.
Yeah. But Sunil Narine is that, again, that wicket of Dhoni. There's just that matchup, so much spoken about it. He gets Dhoni, he gets Jadeja. Picked up 3 today, so came good with the ball and with the bat.
For many years, Sunil Narine, for Kolkata Knight Riders, has got the important batters out in the opposition. That's what he's done. So you look at his record, and even in a time now where we're saying, whoa, everybody's disappearing to all parts. Look across, I don't know how many games he's played. I'm going to go, he's played 100 games at least. As a, KKR player.
More probably started about 2012 or so, 2012, 2013.
So, and I'm only using 100 because it's a lot of games.
Yeah.
And then you go with economy rate and it won't be 8. Right? It's not going to be 8 in a time where if you go at 8s and 8.5, you're doing fantastically well. We also sometimes go, ooh, this guy's not going so well. And the reason he's not going so well is because they're saying, well, he's not picking up 2 and 3 wickets in the middle and going at 7.5 like he does. He's actually going at 7.9 and he's only picked up 1 point something, 1.5 or whatever in the course of 5 games. His standards are that high, right? And he still maintains them over the course of a season. So last season, he had a magic season. Yeah. Bat, ball, what happened? KKR won it. And if he does have that sort of season, they're always in the shake-up. If he gets some help from someone else along the way, they're always in the shake-up. He's a fantastic player.
Makes a very valid point. When Narine is going through a bad patch, a lot of people will be very happy to have those numbers.
100%. 100%.
But when Narine gets going with the bat, where do you bowl to him? Because if you bowl short, he goes back. Where do you bowl to him as a bowler if he's in that kind
I've
of
often
form?
likened him to a kamikaze player who's not afraid of, sometimes you have these people who are not afraid of dying. The warrior. He's not afraid of getting out. How do you bowl to someone not afraid of getting out? Because he'll just keep playing that way. And we've mentioned so often on this program that if he's not scoring runs, he's getting out, he's not using up balls.
Yes.
So he's the perfect player. You've got 7, 8 batters and you've got Sunil Narine. Whatever he does is a bonus for you now. And especially on a day like today, he's sitting there ready to cut the tree. And he's going straight over midway. He's much more than that.
Yes.
But in the way he loads up for that shot, and he set it up today.
Yes.
The moment he hit those 2 sixes, you knew there was no second combox.
He set it up for KKR and was extremely cool about it, which is why Sunil Narine was the coolest performer of the match, powered by Voltas, Shore Kam Zyada. And that's what KKR did. They did a lot of calm and there was no shore. We'll have a look at that points table. They'll be very happy to see that they are at number 3 and that net run rate.
It's a big jump today.
Ooh, what a jump. Yeah, from 6 to 3. But that positive net run rate is something that, it always comes back later in the tournament, which is why we keep talking about it so often.
You don't get too many opportunities if you blow out to kind of redress that. And what was it? They got 140, I think, whatever it was. Against Mumbai.
They lost in 12 overs.
They lost in 12 overs, yeah. And so Mumbai would have viewed that opportunity as, make sure we get our net run rate up, absolutely obliterate these. They did. And he said, Ajinkya at the time, that not complete batting failure here, right? And you can't really afford them, to be honest, in a tournament where at the back end you're going to be, net run rate this, net run rate that. They get the opportunity today and must commend them. The fact that Rinku Singh got sent in suggested that, hold on, it doesn't matter what happens here, we've got to get these really quickly. And they tried to do it, they managed to do it with just half the overs. Absolutely fantastic.
Only one thing they need to do now. Look, Vaibhav Arora's bowling well, Harshit Rana's bowling well, Sunil Narine, Varun Chakravarti are bowling well, Quinton de Kock's got runs, Narayan's got runs, Rahane's got runs. They just need one thing to complete that team, and that is Russell to get something in the next game. Next game, Russell starts firing. He's not bowled, I think he's bowled, 1 or 2 overs, something like that.
In the last
he's bowled in a couple of games, and I think in both those games he's got 2 for and 2 for. So for them, and I don't know how this works, Harsh and Sammy, I don't know how this works, but they seem to be able to use him sparingly. Like, we might need you today, please bowl. And then he goes, all right. And it seems to be the perfect way for him to, rather than we need your 4 overs every game. And that way, it's almost too much of a demand from him, and it doesn't quite work. But as a sprinkling every now and again, we need, paprika every now and every now and again, not all the time, not every meal, not everything you're cooking, then it works. And nicely enhanced, great taste, away we go. And if they can manage to do that and it keeps working that way, then it's brilliant. As we said at the start, like I said at the start, that when you look at them, I don't look at them and think of them as a side that's going wrong. They have all the ingredients. They look like they're okay. They just need to bed it all in and gel as a team and get into the season. And then in the end, they'll be there in the shake-up.
But, getting him to go with the bat, because Ajinkya spoke about that as well. He said that we have complete confidence in him. He's one of those players who will get that big knock when it's needed, so they are not worrying at all.
When Russell is playing well, if KKR need 90 of 7 overs, the opposition is still thinking, oops, they can get these. I remember a game against RCB. They needed something like 80 in 5 overs. And they got it with 4 balls left or something, 4 or 5 balls left. When he's hitting the ball like that, then no target is out of reach.
Yes.
That is the only box that they would now like to see ticked off.
Not now. Not now. I say.
But he could do it right through the year.
I
He could
say
give it 300
not
run
now.
season.
It's not how you start. It really isn't how you
So
start.
you're invoking the mid-Stark in you.
I mean, look at that. Look at that. You think about last season, right? And
When it mattered,
he went to all parts. And then he bowls them
When
the
it's
final
needed.
and wins it,
And
right?
the semis, yeah.
Yeah,
The
like,
qualifiers.
so for me, yes, you just want to keep ticking along, and you never would say you don't want to win or you don't want players to do well, but no need to worry, it'll come. This part working, the next part's going to work at some point, and guess what? You're 3-3. You're okay, you're 3rd on the table, and that's where you want to be. If at the end that's where you are, hey, look, you're good to go.
You're good to go is what Pommie says for KKR. Everything has gone very smoothly for them. Just the gift that Captain Ajinkya Rahane can give his wife. So all in all, a very happy camp. Tomorrow, of course, is going to be an exciting day because it is a double-header. The weekend's here. The first of the games, Lucknow take on Gujarat. It's happening in Lucknow. This is a battle of 2 of our Cricbuzz experts. Because Zaheer Khan
With Lucknow and PP from PP at Gujarat
and Ashish
Nehra at Gujarat.
So
Parthiv
three
at
of them,
Gujarat.
yes.
It's an interesting one because they're going back to Lucknow to play. Lucknow used to be a 165 kind of ground. This year, I think Zaheer Khan said that Punjab brought their own ground with them. 175 was easily chased down. And then Lucknow won with 203. So it's a different ground this year, unless on the square there are different pitches that we don't know about. But these are two teams that not a lot of people at the start of the season looked at and said, wow, watch out for these teams. And they're doing well. So this is a game that, a lot of other teams are now starting to watch. They're saying, what's buzzing about Gujarat Titans? What makes them buzz? They've just come off Gujarat Titans after a phenomenal win. So it'll be a very good game to watch.
We'll talk about Lucknow squad because that top order is firing and how Mitch Marsh, Nicky Pooran, and then when you look at that, Markram got into good form as well. So that batting there, Pommie, it looks extremely solid. And then you're coming out with the Digvesh Rathi, who's constantly getting those wickets for them, signing those checks all the time. So all in all, it's looking very good for Lucknow.
They just keep coming. I mean, Mitchell Marsh and Aiden Markram, when they start, you watch, you wait, you kind of, if they give them any sort of start, then good luck. And like we're saying about KKR, you've got a certain Rishabh Pant who hasn't done anything as yet, right? But don't worry, because the side looks like it's okay, Marsh, Markram, Pooran, then Rishabh Pant. There's
the Badoni goes in. And then there's Miller.
And then Impact if you need, if you want. So, yeah, they look like they're an okay side. They too, with the ingredients, have to try and get the wheels turning correctly. But they'll be happy at the moment with how things are. They would have been stung. There was the game that they played, I think it was at Vizag, and Delhi Capitals won. Ashutosh, I think, kind of taking them home from where they...
game that was theirs and then got...
Yeah, they really shouldn't have lost it, and they lost it. And you thought, ooh, it's on stuff like this that seasons fall apart. But they've managed to somehow hold it together and keep churning out runs. They've got good play. Can we just, for a second, appreciate Nicholas Pooran?
The best batter in the world at the moment, I think.
In a game where we're saying it's moved to can you hit sixes, here is a quintessential six hitter. He is so far and away better than anyone else at regularly hitting them and makes it look so easy. And you say, oh, so hitting sixes, no, I'm not trying to hit sixes.
Yeah.
You what? Now imagine if he is.
Maybe he won't. Who knows?
I don't know, but my goodness. It's unbelievable how well he's hitting it. Yeah. The question will be, can each of these batters, they don't all have to retain form, but can many of them retain form so that the structure of their innings continues and their batting continues to be as strong as it looks right now? Yeah, all teams, I guess, are trying to answer that very question.
But Harsha, any changes for tomorrow? No news on Mayank Yadav yet.
No, but you see what's starting to happen. Avesh Khan came back late.
Yes.
He's bowling beautifully. So Avesh Khan has come back into that team. Digvesh Rathi has climbed up many levels. Ravi Bishnoi is always very good at that level. And I thought I saw signs. Akashdeep is not your classic T20 bowler, but I saw signs there that he's doing well. And the Lord is always there.
Lord,
so you see, at the start of the season...
The Lord.
At the start of the season, you were talking about who's not there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now suddenly you're saying, no, hang on, we're actually well stocked. When there was nobody, Siddharth had one good game, Prince Yadav had one good game, so that people's chipping in.
Yes.
So they're actually a very good side. Now imagine if Marsh was allowed to bowl, that would complete the side because you then have another seamer. So two big pluses for LSG, that Avesh Khan has started to bowl well. And remember, we were talking whether Rishabh should open the batting and Markram should come down. Guess what Markram's done in the last two games?
Answered those questions.
He's just answered all those questions. So LSG are looking like a side with all bases covered at this stage. We all talk about Nicholas Pooran, that bison at the top. He's at 450s, he's striking at 180 plus. So I think they're doing okay, but they're up against a team that knows them very well too. So this is back to the Delhi Capitals who themselves, you know, they might be on paper a little short on firepower, but it's not Delhi.
It's not
Why
Delhi.
am I saying Delhi?
No, I got
GT,
confused.
it's GT.
Yeah, it's Gujarat.
GT. But Gujarat coming out...
I'm thinking of Delhi because I'm going to Delhi to do a game. See, they keep piling on. Yeah, Gujarat.
You said they're up against Gujarat, and we've spoken about how deep Lucknow bats, but
Different
Gujarat's bowling has really been firing. Mohammad Siraj, that point-to-prove team you were talking about, he's
right on top of that.
the captain of that point-to-prove team, and he's really been proving a point.
I've loved Siraj, but but Siraj has had very good IPL seasons before. But I've loved watching Prasidh Krishna as well, because he's become a much better T20 bowler this year. So Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, another team that's not missing Rabada. Very few teams can say Rabada's gone and we're not missing him, because they've got other bowlers just, you know.
Yes.
Rashid has not had the best season and Rabada is not there, and they're still one of the best bowling sides in the tournament.
But, you know, the top three, they're batting around Sai Sudarshan and that top three. So they really have not been really tested in that middle order, lower middle order.
If they lose 2 wickets early, that's one side that could be tested. Only once they lost 2 wickets. That was in Hyderabad, where Washington came and scored those runs. But they rely a lot on those top three. Unlike the team we talked about, their opponents, who are batting all the way down.
Yes.
So it's slightly different, the two sides,
Your players to watch out for, one from each team.
Let's start with Lucknow. I reckon Mitchell Marsh. He just gives them such a good start, and he's done it 4 in a row. If you're Gujarat, you're looking and you're saying, well, he's due a failure, but I wouldn't put it past him to go again. Seems so organized with the way he's going about it up at the top of the order. Happy to be aggressive, but there's a method in the way that he seems to go about it. His area he'll go for. If it's not, he won't. And because of confidence and form, he probably can be a whole lot more controlled rather than go searching. In Gujarat, I'm going to a bowler, and it's Prasidh Krishna, because he's just, you know, at a time when all these batters are absolutely tonking it everywhere and looking to put, you know, bowlers under pressure by smashing it, even in the middle overs, he's bowling what is a test match length, and it's not going it's not something out of the ordinary or out of himself to do that, because that's his greatest attribute, to get bounced from what is a test match length, and it makes it difficult to hit because he's that tall. He's also had situations where, when we were watching, I did that game in Ahmedabad that they last played a couple of days ago, and you have some deliveries that are at 138 k's an hour, and then you have other deliveries that are at 144 k's an hour, where he's going back of length and is coming in, and guys are going, oh, can try and take that on. They might get that away, but the next one's that much quicker. So he's changing up some of the time rather than taking pace off and changing down. And he's got it on a string. So, yeah, really nice to watch. So those two, but there are many more you could name, because both sides are going quite well and have got many a good player.
I'm going two bowlers. I'm going Avesh Khan for Lucknow. I'm going Siraj, because those top three, you need someone to get into the Lucknow top three. He's charged with doing that. He's bowling three in the power play sometimes. And so if him versus Marsh, him versus Markram, him versus Puran, I think could be the big contest.
Can I just throw in something as well to say, many times it's the big names and so forth that get mentioned. Sai Kishore. Man. Oh,
Impressive, so impressive.
Impressive, great hairstyle, looks, but he, on a string, yeah.
Pommie is invoking the young Pommie. Do you know Pommie used to have dreadlocks?
I do. Yes.
Long time ago.
Very long time.
Back in my day.
All right, then the second game tomorrow, because it's going to be a double header, is Hyderabad taking on Punjab. They will be playing in Hyderabad, and both of you, I think, are flying to Hyderabad tomorrow. But Harsha, Hyderabad, what is happening? What do they do? We've spoken so highly of this team.
When you said, we were asked who are the four teams that you think will qualify, I had SRH as my first qualifier. They just seem to have everything right. I'm very curious to see how they approach tomorrow's game, and if they get a surface that allows the heads of Head and Abhishek to keep going. They've had a long time away from the game, but now we realize how much of a role Head and Abhishek, that opening partnership, was playing. So Head, Abhishek, Ishan, Nitish is struggling a little bit coming back from injury. I don't know if they're pushing Klaasen too far down, but Klaasen is no longer the scary batter. I thought the two scariest batters in the game were Puran and Klaasen. So Klaasen hasn't teed off yet. So luckily they've got a lot of their season ahead of them still. But if that batting tees off on a surface that's perfect for that batting to tee off, they're still in the game. The problem for them is, if it's a surface where their batting can tee off, they're up against a team that's stocked with similar batters.
Yes. I just feel, with the 4 losses on the bounce and preceding that, a game where they get 280.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seen as a side that can only bat when the conditions favor you. They're all very good players, and they're players capable of adapting to whatever the conditions are and still dominate, right? So, yeah, I think rather than go out there, smash it, keep going at it, go even harder, it would be really nice. That 280, I did that 280 game, and I may seem crazy in saying it, but it didn't look like they were trying to whack it.
Yes.
They were so controlled, and yet looked like they were going to get 300 runs on the board. And the games after that, I think the next one I did was where they swiped and got 190, which was way below par. And it just looked chalk and cheese watching the side bat from one day to the next. So hopefully some control in the way they go about it. And if they can get that control back, I tell you what, they'll be back at it, because their players are that good. They can smash it if it's a good surface.
Well, they are up against Punjab, who are pretty high on confidence, and we'll have a look at Hyderabad squad once before we go to Punjab and see if they will go ahead with any changes. If Harshal Patel's fit, do you see him coming in maybe for Unadkat, Harsha?
Could well be, depending on the surface. I think they had Unadkat specifically for that surface.
Yeah.
Because the ball was gripping, stopping, so they had him in there. The bowling they've got to sort out is, what do they do with Simarjit, Unadkat, that combination. Cummins will bowl well, Shami is the class bowler, he'll bowl well. And also, they've tried playing Kamindu Mendes because their batting is struggling a little bit. They need their spin. They've got to, I mean, Adam Zampa's had 2 bad games, but Adam Zampa is a world-class bowler. So I think somehow Zampa for Mendes and then see how the team sort of matches itself around that. That I think will be their key.
You wouldn't have Harsha in?
No, it doesn't matter if Harsha is in. I'm looking to find a way to get Zampa in.
Zampa.
Okay, I see. Harsha should play every time. If he's fit, he plays.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we'll have a look at Punjab squad now and see what we have in store for them tomorrow. We know that they're coming in great confidence. Pommie, we saw what Priyansh Arya did in that last match.
What about that? Do you know, I get excited when youngsters turn up and you don't have a clue who they are or what they can do, and then it's the big stage. And it's something else to do it in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. That's something else. You know, fair enough, you can do it there and you can do it in all the other competitions, but when it comes to pressure time, and it is the big time, and you can do it there as well and turn it on. Fantastic. And we love seeing guys turning up, just different guys turning up. So, yeah.
What I'm absolutely loving is it's not even at Mushtaq Ali that those guys are doing well. They're coming out of the little leagues and setting the biggest league on fire.
Yes.
And Priyansh Arya has done that. What he's actually achieved, Priyansh Arya, I think he's got a license saying, doesn't matter if you come off 4 or 5 times, that's good enough for me. With him and Prabh Simran, they're able to manage the rest of their side much better. And I think that's what's working for Ponting and Shreyas in Punjab Kings.
They will want Glenn Maxwell to fire because it's been quite a few games and his form has been a concern. But otherwise, any changes you see, Harsha?
Depends on the surface. Actually, they might be tempted if they think Maxwell's not quite there to play Umar Zai. Because I really like Azmat Umar Zai as a player. I think they'll still go with Maxwell because if he's not scoring runs, if you look at what he's always picking up a key wicket.
Yeah, so that's where I was going.
Yeah.
That you almost have him as a freebie player. You don't want to say that of him because
No, but that's right. That's when he's best.
So dangerous, right? But his bowling is underrated.
Yes.
Totally underrated. And there are key players that he bowls against that he has the wood over.
I think he's taken wickets in the power play twice.
Yeah, and it's not it's kind of not an extra. It's suddenly so and so comes in and he bowls in the power play, and if he doesn't get them out, he goes for 6 or 7. And in the context, that's humongous.
Yes.
Right? And essentially, like we say, it's got to be pieces of the puzzle that are kind of being put together, and that fits one. And if you've got youngsters turning up and scoring runs like Priyansh and so forth, then you can afford to carry some. And so it does help that their skipper is in fine form. He's playing beautifully. I don't think I've seen him play better, actually.
So your players to watch out for then, is it going to be the skipper for you?
Yep. For me, I'm looking out for Shreyas Iyer.
Yes.
That's in
Punjab.
In the Punjab side. And in Hyderabad, I say Klaasen. I think...
Yeah, he needs to come good for them.
Yeah, he's shown glimpses. He's shown that he's in decent touch. Maybe try to go out a bit hard too early in the quest to continue this aggressive way that they've played. Yeah, I'm still going with him.
Klaasen for you. And Shreyas, what about you?
I'd like to look at that Punjab side because there's one player in that Punjab team. They've got Arshdeep is bowling well, Jansen's bowling well, Lockie's charging in. So all that's taken care of. Now if Chahal gets into form, then watch out. He's always there. He's never too far from being out of form. So my player to watch out for that reason is Chahal because he completes the bowling lineup for them. So Chahal in form, they're looking very good. With Hyderabad, I think their talisman, much as Klaasen is the most feared of all of them, my talisman is Travis Head. When Travis Head is giving them those starts, everything else follows.
We've seen that. We've seen that many a times. We'll see if it happens tomorrow. We will now look at that question which we had, which they had guessed.
Yes.
And they were close to it.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a series. It was
Series of
number
4
of ducks.
Yeah, series of 4 ducks, I think it is.
I don't know. But I didn't know what for. I just thought it was number of ducks.
So you all were very close. We'll have a look at that answer and see how close you all were. But
Oh,
it
that
was
was
not
Chris
the,
Martin.
Yes,
Oh, it's about a pair. It's not a series of ducks. It's about number of pairs. Okay. Good call.
Chris Martin got a pair in Test cricket 7 times, but at least you all got one part of it correct, which is a big deal for the joy factor. There's someone who's obviously gotten everything correct. We'll have a look at who that is. Giri Teja has gotten this correct. Giri Teja's,
Well done, Teja.
He wins a few.
yeah, he wins quite a
Does
few.
he get a mug?
Does he get a mug? No, he doesn't even get the thumbs up anymore because Mr. Joy Bhattacharya has changed his photograph to this,
dear.
you know.
And there was a time when we used to have small gifts, but GK took all of them home.
Oh.
Oh, that's where they went.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
birthday
got
today.
that little locked up room. When you enter his house on the left, there's a little room there that's got all these things that were meant to be given to the quiz winner.
You got an invite? We didn't get an invite. We've never been.
No, you've got to be in the inner circle. You've got to be in the inner circle.
Well, Giri Teja, you know where your gifts are. They're at Gaurav Kapoor's house because we've just been told that he's taken away all the gifts. So if you want them, write into Gaurav Kapoor and tell them to get the gifts back.
Remember the little red table?
Yes, I remember that.
All of
red
them are in
table.
his house.
Is the red table there as well?
All of them.
Yeah. We have to also have a look at that board which we don't want to look at, do we?
Which board's that?
Yeah, I don't know which board. Which board are we talking about?
No idea. Cupboard.
This is the board we're talking about. Pommie, the duck there for you.
Pommie? Pommie? Pommie?
Where are you, Bhogle?
I'm great friends. Me and Pommie go back many, many, many years. So I've got a wish for you, Pommie.
What's your wish?
When you come back next, score a point. You'll score a
that's
point.
He's not telling the truth.
That's kind.
It's not. He doesn't want anyone to score any points ever. Okay, well, we were rubbish today, weren't we?
Well, we were rubbish because it was not something
Absolutely
anyone
everybody
expected.
got it wrong. No one
Everyone
expected.
got
We
it
were
wrong,
rubbish.
yeah.
You were fine. It's
We
just
were
that the match
fine.
was wrong.
Yeah. That's what happened. It was the scooter he was talking about.
You have to shake it about.
And then the other side turned up in a limousine. So
That's what happened. So it wasn't our fault. It wasn't our fault at all. I know that both of you have flights to go to Hyderabad. So I will not keep you all waiting. But it's always such a pleasure to have you back, Pommie, with your laughter and all the energy that you bring into Cricbuzz and Harsha Bhogle. It's just
now I
such
have
a
to search for
pleasure.
something to say.
No. It's just
Sorry.
such a pleasure to be with you and get to hear about all the good old days and how things were.
It was going so well till then.
Good old
Goodbye,
days.
everybody. Goodbye. I've anchored more than Saiyami has. And on that note, goodbye, everybody.
Before it goes anywhere else, I'll keep the vintage stories for another day. But thank you so much for all the entertainment. And thank you everyone watching Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. So don't forget to join us there. Good night and goodbye.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Express, Nayagati Station, Netaji Bhogle.